Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Evangelist Matthew Miles Sr., welcoming you to another online Bible study from the ministries here at the Central Point Church of Christ, Bloomington, Illinois. Listen, we are talking about depression. Depression, a stiller of life. This is our volume 2 of this series. I do not know how long this series will carry us, but I will do my ever best to give you some pertinent information that can help you, assist you, and perhaps assist other family members that you may have who can use this information as well. Well, I want you to remember, I am not speaking as a doctor or one who has a degree in psychology or medicine, but we are using the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois Association printed materials for this information that we are passing on to you. In our last lesson, we talked about defining depression. We started out by defining depression as an illness that affects a person's body as well as their mind. We also talked about some of the effects of depression, withdrawal, with a feeling of a loss of pleasure, feelings of sadness, physical discomfort, sleep disorders. All of these are effects of depression. We also talked about the fact that anyone can be affected by depression. The elderly, the middle-aged, the young, the adolescent, children, men, women, young or old. It can affect many different people. Also, we talked about the causes of depression, some causes of depression. And then we talked about some symptoms of depression. And then, of course, types of depression. And we encourage you to go back and look at lesson number 1 in this online study to get in more detail of some of that information. You can feel free to go on our website. It's there for your pleasure. So today we want to talk share some various treatments and professional personnel for depression. Professional treatments and professional personnel, for your consideration. Let's start with some treatments of depression. As with most illnesses, it's easiest and most effective when treatment is started early. So we want to encourage you not to ignore the signs. Treatment is easiest and most effective when it begins early. Now there are several treatments of depression, and sometimes a combination of these methods are often used. Let's begin talking. One treatment, of course, is medication. A variety of medications called antidepressants can help relieve the symptoms of depression and return a person to a normal function. Examples of antidepressants that have been around for many years include Tricyclics. Also, there is one called monoamine. It's an inhibitor. Also, there is one called Lithium, often used in manic depressive illnesses. And then there are newer antidepressants such as Serotonin, Reuptake inhibitors, and bupropion. Usually have fewer side effects than the older medications. And then we want to give a note here that antidepressants are not habit forming, but their use needs to be monitored for maximum effectiveness. Now, always follow instructions carefully. Inform your health care provider of all medications or drugs you take, including alcohol, and report any side effects. That's very, very important. You must monitor very closely when you're using antidepressants. Now, also, there is psychotherapy. Psychotherapy, not only medicines, but psychotherapy. Psychotherapy helps many depressed people become more self-aware and better able to cope with their problems. Treatment methods include individual counseling, group therapy, and psychoanalysts. All right. Other treatments, some people with depression respond well to light therapy. In case of severe depression where other treatments have not worked, ECT, otherwise known as Electroconvulsive Therapy, may be used as well. A measured dose of electric current is applied briefly to the brain under anesthetics, and the shock is painless. All right. But I want you to note with ECT, usually has temporary side effects such as memory loss and being lethargic. In some patients, certain memory and or intellectual functions may be permanently lost when it comes to ECT treatment. Of course, as always, you want to discuss all possible side effects with your healthcare provider before undergoing ECT. All right, electroconvulsive therapy. Now, in concern with paying for treatment, most depression can be successfully treated without hospitalization. Many health insurance policies cover at least part of the cost, and some sources of treatment are free or have a sliding scale based on ability to pay. The cost of treatment is small compared to the suffering and problems that may result from prolonged untreated depression. So you want to weigh your options there. And the professional says that in the long run, it's better to have the treatment and perhaps have some financial responsibility than to go without the treatment. Let's look at the people who treat depression. The people who treat depression. First, there is the psychologist. The psychologist. They have expertise in testing, diagnosing, and treating emotional and psychological disturbances. That's the psychologist. But then there is the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are medical doctors with special training in helping those with emotional and psychological problems. They can diagnose illnesses, counsel patients, and prescribe medications. All right, so that's the little difference between the psychologist and the psychiatrist. Then there are also the social workers who are involved. Social workers are specialists who may provide psychotherapy referrals or other services. Then you have the psychotherapist. The psychotherapist. You have the psychologist, the psychiatrist, and then the psychotherapist who provide psychotherapy. They often have specialized training in that field. Then you also have the psychiatric nurses. Psychiatric nurses are registered nurses with advanced training in mental health who provide psychotherapy, education, medication, and monitoring for the patient. Your healthcare provider can also be a valuable resource. He or she can determine any medical causes of depression, make referrals, and provide treatment in certain cases. So to find these individuals, if you stand in need of this type of medical assistance or help, you want to start with your health provider, your local hospital, and they can give you the necessary referrals that you need in order to get this type of treatment. Where to get help? There are many sources of help available in your community. Number one, there's community mental health centers. Community mental health centers. They provide a broad range, community mental health center provide a broad range of professional services at reasonable and responsible costs, in and outpatient treatment, as well as emergency assistance. So that's a good place to start, your community mental health center. And then you have your general hospitals. General hospitals are often available for short-term intensive psychiatric care for acute problems. All right, so in case of emergency, you may want to go to the nearest hospital, and then, of course, they will get you to the right personnel. There are also mental hospitals, state, private, as well as the VA, who specialize in treating inpatients with serious mental disorders. Then there also are mental health clinics. They're often operated by many hospital, social service agencies, and private groups, offering a wide range of services. Then you also have family service agencies. Family service agencies can help with a broad range of emotional, social, and economic problems, and provide fast, practical help, and also referrals. So there are several family service agencies available. Then you also have what is called self-help groups. All right, self-help groups such as AA can give support and referral to people with depression. So that's another source of support and encouragement. There are also, throughout the land and country, suicide prevention hotlines for those who are struggling with the thoughts of suicide. Sometimes a lot of this comes from bullying. Sometimes it's from depression brought on by various causes. But certainly there are suicidal prevention hotlines and similar non-professional crisis centers offer emergency help and immediate referrals. So you want to look in your local directories and also just online for these types of support centers that could support you during these type of challenges in your life. Then also there are schools and also employers often provide counseling and referral services. Many employers offer their employees assistance programs. So before you think you have to give up your job or you might have to quit your job, talk to your employer, because many times they have programs they offer for their workers. And we want to remind you not to forget marriage and family therapists. There are also marriage and family therapists as well as other professionals working in private practice. All right, working in private practice. So you want to remember them as well. And then we want to encourage you. We want to encourage you to take action. Take action. If you or someone you know has symptoms of depression, you want to take action. If you hear something in these presentations from last month and this month that mirrors some behaviors that you have exhibited, that mirror some feelings, thoughts that you may have been wrestling with, please, I say again, like I said last week, do not be embarrassed. Do not feel like you're all alone. Do not feel like all hope is gone. I want you to understand you are not alone. I want you to understand that help is available. You do not have to go through this alone. Take action. Speak to someone. Make the phone call. You want to live your life to the greatest extent, and I'm going to deal with the more spiritual aspect of it in the next lesson. But right now, we want to encourage you to take action. Now, well, how do I do that, Brother Miles? Well, you need to see a health care provider. That's the first step. You need to see a health care provider. You need to see a healthcare provider for a complete checkup. All right? Not only a complete checkup, but for a complete checkup and a discussion of the symptoms that you are experiencing. All right? And again, it is most important, do not feel embarrassed. I know in our ethnic group, our culture and background, many people frown on psychiatrists, psychologists, psychotherapists. But I'm here to tell you, as I told you last month, do not spurn the blessing and privilege that God has given us through medical science and professionals. Use what God has given us that you might have a holistic life. All right? Jesus said, I've come that they may have life and life more abundantly. He says to the highest degree, and we're going to talk about that. All right? So you want to see a healthcare provider for a complete checkup and a complete discussion of your symptoms. And you want to follow up on any referrals or recommendation. You can lead a horse to the water, but you cannot make him drink. The horse has to make up his mind that he's going to drink. You have to make up your mind. When you get to the professional, when you receive the instruction, when you receive the help, you have to act upon it. Follow up. Don't put it to the side, because next time you may not be as blessed as you were this time. All right? Take action. Talk things over. Talk things over with an understanding friend. All right? When there's a specific problem, discuss it fully with the people involved if possible. And many times this affects us mentally. When we allow an encounter to go on in our mind, and we're upset, we're angry with someone, perhaps someone has offended us or done something to us, or something hasn't been done right to your vehicle or whatever, we can allow these things to build up on us and overcome us. And again, I'm going to deal with that. There's scripture for that. There's scripture for that, so you can have a sound mind. Talk it out. If it's all possible to talk to the person that has offended you, or the situation that has occurred, if it's possible to talk to them, talk to them. Get it out of your system, okay? Another thing is, sometimes we feel like failures because we set the bar too high. Don't expect too much of yourself in the beginning. Avoid setting difficult goals or taking on too much responsibility. Many times that can send us into a place of depression when we set the bar too high, and when we fail to reach those goals and expectations, that can slip us into a depressed state. All right? So don't expect too much of yourself. Another way to take action is to take a break. Take a break. I was a gospel preacher friend of mine I've known over 30-some years, attended Southwestern Christian College, sent me a clip just the other day, just 2 days ago. No, just a day ago, I think, maybe 2 days ago, a clip of a preacher who was coming out to his congregation about being overworked, burnt out. And it was time for him to take a break, talking to the whole congregation. All right? Sometimes you have to take a break. Take a break from your favorite activity. It might be your favorite activity. Take a break for your favorite activity. It may be your favorite activity that gives you that peace of mind and that relaxation that you need to come back strong. All right, so take a break for a favorite activity. Sometime for an evening out, just put everything down. Sometime for a trip, a vacation, or go visit a loved one. All right, but sometimes taking action simply just means to take a break. All right. Sometimes taking action could be getting exercise. Exercise to help work off bottled up tension It helps you to relax. I know I feel better after I exercise. I know, boy, I'm feeling regretful when I'm getting ready to start it. But once I'm in it, I'm feeling good. And once I'm done, I feel even better. So exercise to help relieve some of that bottled up tension. It gives you relaxation. It helps you to sleep better. Consult a healthcare provider before starting an exercise program, okay? Remember that, especially if you haven't been exercising in years. Don't you go out there and hurt yourself. You want to consult with a medical professional healthcare provider before you get into a exercise regimen. And then taking action can simply mean to avoid extra stress. Avoid extra stress. Stress comes from all different places in life. All right. Avoid extra stress or big changes. Sometimes that can create too much tension when things suddenly change in your life and all of that. Okay. So in a recap, let's recap. When we're learning about depression, first of all, we want to understand the facts. We want to understand the facts. We want to understand the facts about depression, what it really is, the definition. We want to understand the facts about its causes, what caused depression. And if you did not listen to lesson 1, I want you to go back and listen to it. Know the facts about the types of depression. You need to know that. In order to have the right treatment, you got to know the right type. And then, of course, know the facts about all the treatments that's available. All right, so that's understanding the facts. Then we need to recognize the symptoms of depression. Recognize the symptoms, all right? And then, of course, we need to know where to get help. We need to know where to get help. We need to know who the professional personnel is that can assist and help in this area, all right? And then, of course, we want to seek professional help. Not only know where to get it, but we need to seek it. Go after it. Seek that professional help, especially if the depression is severe and it's persistent, all right? I want to leave you with this thought. Depression does not have to ruin your life. Depression does not have to ruin your life. I can't tell you the number of suicides. I don't have it before me. The number of suicides that were caused by depression. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you, and excuse the phone, the voicemail will get it. But what I can tell you, beloved, is that it's serious. It's serious. Depression can not only be treated, but it can be curable. So seek the help you need. I will be praying for you. It is my prayer and sincere prayer that God will cover you, that God will lead you to the necessary help that you need. You have a whole life ahead of you if it is the Lord's will. So let's live life to the fullest extent. That's why Jesus said he came, and I'm going to deal with that next time. I'm going to give you the spiritual side for healing. But we do not want to neglect or spurn the very gift that God has given us through clinical and professional help. I commend you to God and the word of his grace, which is able to build you up and give you an inheritance among the sanctified. If this class is blessing your life, share the link with somebody. Until next time, think on these things and take care of yourself. May God bless.